Hello everyone, Artemu the Violent Wizard here, and today we are going to be playing one of my favorite games of all time here, as we are in the Mega Man X Legacy Collection, which is a collection of some pretty interesting games from both the SNES and also PlayStation era of this particular series. But we're specifically in this collection to play one game in particular, which is Mega Man X. Now, this is a game that I previously streamed years ago on my Twitch channel. However, I want to do a full playthrough of this game here on YouTube, so that's what we're going to be doing here today. And hopefully we're gonna have a good time of this. It's actually been a while since the last time I played this game, but trust me when I say that I am very familiar with it, and we should have a very good run going through this. So, let us begin. So what's nice about the Legacy Collection is that it also gives some additional perks that you're able to do if you are a newcomer to these kind of games, because, yeah, some of the games from this era can be pretty difficult. However, we're not going to rely on Rookie Hunter mode, which would make the game a bit easier for newcomers. So we're going at this with just the original style of this particular game. So let's begin. Good old Capcom. They've been making just so many games over the years. And this is definitely one of the greats. Warning. X is the first of a new generation of robots which contain an innovative new feature, the ability to think, feel, and make their own decisions. However, this ability could be very dangerous. If X were to break the first rule of robotics, a robot must never harm a human being, the results would be disastrous, and I fear that no force on Earth could stop him. Approximately 30 years will be required before we can safely confirm his reliability. Unfortunately, I will not live to see that day, nor do I have anyone to carry on my work. Therefore, I've decided to seal him in this capsule, which will test his internal systems until his reliability has been confirmed. Please do not disturb the capsule until that time. X possesses great risks, as well as great possibilities. I can only hope for the best. Oh, yeah. Just classic gaming goodness right here. Mega Man X. This is, of course, an entry in the Mega Man series, though this one is basically the start of a brand new sub-series within the franchise, and one that is still regarded as great to this day, with the first game easily being in what I would consider just the highest of regards when it comes to, like, classic SNES gaming. So let's jump right into this. Starting off in one of the best first stages of any video game. So, Mega Man X, this is your typical platformer. We are able to run around and jump, and we also have an attack with our X-Buster. So Mega Man X here is a pretty formidable fighter with his tool set. We can basically only just run, jump, and shoot at the moment, but we will get more options as we are going through this adventure here. We, of course, got tons of robots that we gotta deal with around here. So these robots we are facing are what's known as Mavericks. They are robots that have gone rogue and are now attacking anything that they see. So we are tasked with eliminating these guys. X, of course, is a member of an elite squad of robots known as the Maverick Hunters, which are dedicated to keep the peace of this world by taking care of Maverick robots, such as this giant bee-like ship here. Just blast that thing a bunch and it goes down. Also, hello there, Reggie. Welcome to the stream here. Yeah, we're playing ourselves some classic Mega Man goodness here. So, beating that boss collapsed a section of the road here, so now we're stuck down here. Thankfully, a new thing introduced in Mega Man X that wasn't in the classic Mega Man games is that we're able to wall jump, which is very good for being able to maneuver through levels and also get secrets like that health that was down there. And we can progress farther into this stage here. Yeah, this is a very good intro stage just to get you accustomed to all the controls and what you can expect to go through in this game. Does a good job of just pacing out all of the enemy encounters and giving you the chance to test out your abilities against threats to determine how you're able to deal with them. So we got high enemies up here in order to test your ability to jump and shoot. As well as some... Woo! We got some crumbling platforms here telling you to watch the environment. So yeah, just a very great stage here. Definitely hold this intro level in high regard. And this game as well, which is pretty fun considering that I didn't originally grow up with this game. Yeah, despite owning an SE and NES, I never played any of the Mega Man X games or any of the other classic Mega Man games until well later in my life. It's after I became an adult. Oh, so we got something up above us that's dispensing these Mavericks that we gotta take out. Just blast these guys as they come down and we should be good. And over here at the end... Look out, it's the Mandalorian! Say hello to our first boss of the game, Vile. He is an elite Maverick, and definitely very formidable. So we are unable to beat him at this point. You worthless piece of scrap metal! Did you think you could defeat me? Well, hello, gorgeous. I guess I'm not powerful enough to defeat him. X, you shouldn't expect to defeat him. He's designed to be a war machine. Remember, you have not reached full power yet. If you use all the abilities you were designed with, you should become stronger. You may even become as powerful as I am. I'll scout ahead and collect as much information on Sigma's fortress as I can. I'll meet up with you when you get there. See you later. X, I know you can do it. So that red fellow that helped us out against Vile, his name is Zero. He is a veteran Maverick Hunter, as opposed to X, who is basically a rookie at this point in the story. But after clearing up the intro stage there, we finally have the stage select screen. So what's nice with the classic Mega Man formula is that you have the ability to choose which of the stages you're able to go through in whatever order you want. So each of these stages has an important boss figure that we need to take out. And all of them have various stats and weapons that make them unique from each other. And we also have a map screen here showing the general location of where we're going to be encountering all of these boss enemies. Now, there are different orders that I could recommend going through this game. And in fact, I do have a optimal path that I like to go through this game in order to reduce the amount of backtracking. However, I want to do things a little differently here compared to when I originally streamed this game. And that's what I want to show off as much of these levels as I can. So for our first stop, we're going to pick this level. Flame Mammoth. So every time you pick a stage, it will show you the big Maverick boss that we gotta deal with at the end. So now we're in this stage proper. We got ourselves this sort of refinery area where we got these conveyor belts that are dispensing junk that is being dropped into these lava pits here. Also like the touch that all of the different bits of junk around here are like Mavericks that have been defeated previously. So, you know, they're being recycled in order to produce more Mavericks for the threats that we are dealing with. And of course, throughout these stages, we have a lot of things we gotta watch out for. Not just enemies, there are also various secrets that we'll want to look out for. Sadly, there's nothing we can do over here with our current equipment, so we'll just move forward. So around this stage, we will see jets of fire roaring up from the floor. Also, you definitely want to watch out for the lava down here, as that stuff will kill you if you fall into it. We got these minor enemies that we gotta deal with. I don't know, they seem pretty major to me. See, I'm not too worried about dispensing with these guys. We can just move on out of here. There's definitely some other things I want to just kind of watch out for when we're going through these areas. But for the time being, we don't need to worry too much about what is around this section, especially with our current equipment. So over here we got some mashers that are gonna crush anything that gets near. Just tempt them down and then rush through. So what do you want to do with these guys? Love that they crush the sprite of that guy flat. That's real good. Alright, we were able to avoid all the fire over there, but we got some more to deal with here. We also got some lava that is dripping down. So yeah, there's no end to the threats we gotta do around here. Got enemies all around, like this guy with the shield and the flail. You want to strike him when the shield goes away. And also be careful of his flail, because that can really do some damage to ya. Luckily, defeating enemies will give you health pickups, which is very helpful when going through these stages. Especially for someone like me who is a little out of practice with this particular game. But we shouldn't have too much trouble through it, as this is one of my favorite games of all time. And we've reached the end of the stage, which means it's time to face the Maverick at the end. Flame Mammoth! So bosses in this game can be pretty formidable. We don't have a whole lot of equipment with us, so this could actually be a pretty tough battle, considering how things could go. So Flame Mammoth will use his size to his advantage, and will just try to body slam you. And he can also shoot jets of fire from his arm. and he can also change the direction that the conveyor belt is going. You also want to watch out because his fire attacks can light the oil that he shoots from his trunk, creating more fire hazards that you gotta deal with here. Luckily, you can get... if you can get past this guy, yeah, showing the danger that the oil presents right there. This guy really isn't too bad, all things considered. But like that, we're able to take out our first Maverick. 1 down, 7 more to go. Man, I really like that I managed to get through that stage on my first try, because I usually do not pick Flame Mammoth's stage first. And in Mega Man tradition, every time that we beat a big boss, we get ourselves a weapon associated with that boss. So in that case, we acquired the Fire Wave, which will be quite useful to us. So now that we dealt with Flame Mammoth, we're going to be heading over this way to a little bit of a colder area. Chill Penguin! Yeah, obviously, I really like the theming they do with all the various bosses in the Mega Man X series. So the thing with the Mega Man series is that in the original Mega Man games, the big bosses that you would face at the end of the stages would be like Fireman, or Iceman, or Quickman. So they would just be humanoid robots that would have some sort of elemental or weapon-based theme to them. So this game does something different where the big bosses incorporate both an element as well as an animal-like design to them. So we fought Flame Mammoth, who is obviously a robotic pachyderm that uses fire attacks. And in this stage, we'll be facing Chill Penguin, who is obviously going to be a penguin that uses ice. So yeah, definitely pretty nice with the way that they go about designing the bosses in this particular game. I feel like it is pretty cool and a nice contrast from how things are back in the NES Mega Man games. That jumbo there just kind of stumps me sometimes. I do love the way this game controls, but there are a few moments where things can be a little bit off. But anyway, this over here is why I recommend starting with Chill Penguin as the first level you do. So, you've come. X, I gave you the ability to choose your own path in life, and I hoped the world would allow you to choose a peaceful one. But now it seems that you are destined to fight. Because I thought the world might need a new champion, I have hidden capsules like this one. If you find and use them, you will be able to increase your powers beyond anything the world has ever known. Step into this capsule and receive an acceleration system to boost your speed. Good luck, X. So that hologram there depicts Dr. Thomas Light, the creator of Mega Man from the NES Mega Man games. So, Mega Man X takes place many years after the original Mega Man series, with X, our player character, being the last creation of Thomas Light before his death. Certainly a way to shake things up here in this game compared to the original series. But by stepping into that capsule, we gain ourselves a new power, the ability to dash. So this is going to be a really handy power, giving us the ability to quickly move across stages and get past hazards. We're going to be relying on this quite a bit, and it's why I would recommend starting Chill Penguin before any other stage in this game. Just because the dash is super helpful. not just for moving quickly through stages, but it's also good at being able to just maneuver through various areas. And over here, we got ourselves quite nice. This is Ride Armor. It's a new mechanic to this game where you're able to temporarily board the armor in order to be able to move through stages. So over here, I wanted to equip the Fire Wave, as we can use that to destroy this bunker up here. And by doing that, we grab some extra health. So all throughout the stages here, we can find one health upgrade in each of the 8 stages. And we're going to want to collect all of those, because X does start the game with pretty low amount of health. So just try to gather as much as you can. Also, felt like mentioning it just here. For whatever reason, this part where you're running uphill and dodging the snowballs, it always reminded me of some of the early levels from the Empire Strikes Back game on the SNES. That's just kind of what I always think of when going through this stage. And at the end here, we face Chill Penguin himself. He may look goofy looking, but don't underestimate him. Now, showing off here, our Fire Wave is actually the main weakness of Chill Penguin, so will do more damage than our regular shots will do against him. So every Maverick here has a weakness to one of the weapons from the other Mavericks. So in that case, you want to use Fire Wave. This thing is also just, in general, very good for dealing with enemies, since it does continuous damage, and so it's just really good for some of the healthier enemies that have a lot of health. So you do want to watch out, because when Chill Penguin here is sliding, you won't be able to damage him. So just be careful of that. You can also conjure blizzards in order to try and push you back. However, we were able to fry that bird up. Very nice. You got Shotgun Ice. Another very cool ability we just got there. See, I definitely like the selection of weapons that you're able to get from the Mavericks in this game. I recommend playing around with the various weapons and seeing what's effective in whatever circumstance you might find yourself in. So now we dealt with Chill Penguin there. That actually does change an aspect of the Flame Mammoth stage. However, we're going to return there a bit later if we want to clear that area out. So for now, let's go over here to this level. Spark Mandrill! One of the few Mavericks who actually made an appearance in the old Mega Man cartoon from, like, the 90s. But anyway, this stage definitely has a lot for us. As the name suggests, we're going to be dealing with electric hazards around here. So definitely want to watch out. We got these guys over here from the highway stage at the very start of the game, alongside these hazards to deal with. So definitely want to be careful of everything around here, because, yeah, there's a lot. So over there is something we'll definitely want to try and grab later, but we can't get it at the moment. So we'll just deal with that guy, and there's nothing more we can find over here. It's a dead end. So yeah, this stage we have a lot of electricity hazards to deal with. There is a way you're able to get around a lot of the hazards in this stage, but we're not going to be accessing that until much later, so don't worry about it. And over here we got ourselves some enemies that will shoot at us from the dark. Let's just take that guy out with some of the fire we got from Mammoth. Also goes without saying, the music in this game is phenomenal. Just some of my favorite songs in any SNES game. It's so amazing and just rocks out so good. And we got ourselves a mini-boss over here. This guy can be quite nasty. Is covered in this gel, which it uses to protect itself, and it can also dispense the jelly in order to attack you. Alongside that, it can also gather electricity in order to attack you with. So yeah, definitely gotta be careful. What's nice about the shotgun ice is that it does ricochet off walls, which can be nice for dealing with some enemies. Yeah, not surprised we did so poorly there. That guy can be really tough. Alright, I'm actually going to switch to fire for dealing with these guys, because they have a lot of health. Yeah, you can just see how much this weapon just burns through the enemy's health. Hehehe. It's very effective against enemies that have high HP. Now, there is a way that you can make the fight against the mini-boss here a bit easier, but we're not going to be able to do that for quite a while. So for now, let's just go for this stage as good as we can, try to avoid taking a lot of damage before we get to the next fight. So that capsule that enemy dropped is an ammo capsule. You can use those to replenish your weapon energy. As yep, you have limited access to the various weapons we have in this game. So definitely want to be careful. Gonna try to use the fire wave against this guy. Just drain as much of its health as we can. Ow. There's another weapon I really like to use against this thing, but probably not gonna see that for a while. Just burn it up. Ah, there we go. It's finally dead. Yeah, I think it'd be real annoying. It's definitely one of the reasons why I would recommend doing this stage a bit later in your runs. Oh, I like these guys, where they have the wheels and will just try to ram into you. Then we got these ceiling-mounted turrets that we also have to deal with. So quite a good variety to the various enemies we'll be encountering throughout this game. So definitely watch out for them, as well as all of the different attack patterns they can do. As long as you know what the enemies are able to deal against you, you should be fine with dispatching with them. And over here, we got this big turtle guy. These guys have a lot of health, so I definitely recommend fire waving them. So over here, we got this health capsule that we can grab. That one's a little tricky to do if you don't have a certain other item, but we were able to get it simply by wall jumping it. So we're all good there. So burn away the turtles. Those are what I recommend for these guys. So we should be pretty close to the end of the stage now. We got more of these light guys we gotta deal with. Ooh, thanks for the health. I appreciate. So, while we're going through this part, what's something that we could talk about? So, pretty recently, there have been some pretty interesting announcements regarding video games lately. Mainly, we're finally getting a new Spyro game. Oh, I'm so happy for this. Especially because I streamed a bit of Spyro Reignited Trilogy earlier this year. Oh, I'm so hyped for it. I can't wait for this game to be released. It's gonna be so good. Anyway, we finally made it to the boss of this stage. Spark Mandrill. So this guy is obviously big and he can be nasty. He can jump up onto the ceiling and climb using the cables up top. And he'll just punch you and also release shockwaves in order to damage. Can be pretty formidable. However, because we beat Chill Penguin, we actually have this guy's weakness. So how about we try doing this to him instead? come on. I really want to see if I can get through this fight without taking damage. But yeah, Shotgun Ice totally decimates this guy. Just prevents him from doing anything to you. And with that, we beat ourselves another boss. We had to deal with a couple electrical hazards around here. Wasn't too bad. And we got the electric spark. It's certainly a nice weapon with some good applications to it. So now we dealt with that guy. How about we head to this stage? Storm Eagle! Now, this is a very cool stage thematically. Like, all the various stages of the game are usually just facilities, like with the smelting plant and the electric plant that we previously visited. But this area is basically an airport that's been modified to construct vehicles that the Mavericks are using for their invasion. So, just pretty cool thematically, having this big airport area being served as an enemy base. But yeah, if you do a dash jump from the very top here, you're able to get to that health pickup all the way on the other end of that stage. It's very good to grab that. Highly recommend picking it up. And by being this guy, we should be able to ride this platform all the way up here. We can shoot into this tower, and if we take that guy out, he just breaks all the windows and enables us to grab another very useful item. So that is what's known as a sub-tank. So anytime you're at full health and you have a sub-tank, you're able to basically bank the energy you would have gotten into the sub-tank for later use. It's basically the Mega Man X version of the E-tanks from the classic Mega Man games. And I definitely like these quite a bit more than the E-tanks, believe it or not. They're very good items. Highly recommend picking them up. There is a total of 4 sub-tanks that we're able to get in this adventure. So we'll definitely want to be on the prowl to get these guys. We actually did see one in Spark Mandrel's stage. Oh, come on. So over here, we got ourselves a very fire-coated thing here. Just blast through that. We can grab an extra life that looks like Mega Man X's head, because that's just what extra lives in general look like in video games, just the character's head. And when it's not, it's a green mushroom or whatever. So I believe if we head down here, yes, there should be something else we can grab. Shooting that with the fire, we can find ourselves another hidden capsule. This capsule contains an enhancement for your helmet, which will allow you to break some ceilings with a headbutt. Thank you for that, Doctor. So with that, we got ourselves the ability to break certain blocks, which will be very handy for us going forward. So basically, the main reason you want to grab that ability is that it unlocks the way of getting another ability later on in our adventure. So, yeah, that's why you'll want to pick that up. It's going to be pretty useful to us. We'll grab another extra life over there, make up for the one we lost from fighting Spark Mandrel. Now, these guys here are classic Mega Man enemies. These are Mators. They will just hide underneath their construction helmets, and they are totally invulnerable so long as they have their helmets down. Once they peek out to try to get a look at you, that's your opportunity to strike them dead. So yeah, I definitely like the Metars. They're a very cute little, basically, Goomba of this series. So over here, past these platforms, we got ourselves a pretty familiar sight. So this is the Def Rogamer, which is an airship being piloted by the Mavericks. And believe it or not, this is actually the ship that we saw in the intro stage that dropped Vile. So if we head through here, we can deal with things on the Def Rogamer. Just absolutely devastate it. And here comes the boss, Storm Eagle. Honestly, this guy isn't too bad. Most of his attacks don't do direct damage. He can push you away with the wind, and then he will do a dive bomb attack, which can actually do damage to you. As long as you dash out of the way of his dive bombs, you should be good. And then just strike him whenever he comes by. Alright, he can also spit out eggs, which can release little robot birds to deal with. But we don't really need to worry too much about this. So yeah, this guy's whole draw is trying to use the wind to push you off of the Def Rogamer. But we don't need to worry too much about that. Just strike him when he swoops down or whenever there's another opening, and you should be good. We don't have his weakness yet, but we'll get it eventually. And that takes care of Storm Eagle. I know a certain YouTuber who's gonna rest easy with that little fact. And we can see the ship just begins to plummet down now that we've defeated Eagle. You got Storm Tornado! So this thing is one of my favorite weapons in the game. It's got insane range, and like the Fire Wave, it does damage to the enemies as long as they're in its hitbox. So yeah, this thing is so good at ripping apart enemies. Oh my god, it's amazing. Alright, so now that we've managed to get the... Since we got the helmet upgrade at Storm Eagle stage, we're actually going to head back into Flame Mammoth. And things around here have definitely changed a little bit since last time. So this game features a little bit of a interesting mechanic where, depending on the stages you go through in a particular order, will change up how certain stages will appear. So in this case, since we defeated Chill Penguin, the lava in Flame Mammoth stage has now iced over, and we no longer have to deal with taking fire damage around here. Very good. Now you may have noticed these blocks over here the last time we were in this area. What we want to do is try to dash onto those blocks and bash them with the helmet upgrade. Wow, we actually managed to do that pretty quickly. Nice. This capsule contains a part which will increase the capabilities of your X-Buster. You can use it to fire all types of weapons. Now that's something we definitely want to grab. So this capsule will enhance our X-Buster. So now we can charge even stronger attacks using that. And another nice little thing with our improved X-Buster is that we also have the ability to charge our weapons. So we can head down there where the lava was in order to grab the health upgrade. So that's definitely real good. So we just easily deal with these guys using Mammoth's own weapon. Now, like typical Mega Man game fashion, enemies tend to respawn very quickly whenever you move off the stage from where they originally spawn in. So definitely bear that in mind while you're going through these areas. And over here, we can break apart this wall using our new abilities to grab another sub-tank. Very nice. Alright, looking at current equipment. So yeah, we got the health upgrade, and we got the sub-tank. So, there's no further reason to be in this stage. So now we can use the escape unit to just quickly exit the stage. Any progress you have made in the stage will be saved, so gathering all the pickups in there, will count. So now we dealt with that. So we got the health upgrade in Chill Penguin. We got everything in Storm Eagle. There's still another thing we can get in Spark Mandrill, but we're not going to grab that until a bit later. So I think for the next thing we're going to do, how about we head to this stage? This is going to be a good one. Armored Armadillo. Starting out with some rockin' music. I love the music in Armored Armadillo stage. It's easily one of my favorites in the entire game. It's so good. So we got ourselves a ton of bad enemies we're able to find here right at the start, including one that's a bit of an odd one out, as that's actually an enemy from the classic Mega Man games. And that particular enemy is special because it has an increased chance of dropping extra lives if you kill it. So that could be really nice for being able to gather some extra lives, especially for something coming up. Alright, we got 1 extra life. That's pretty good. Let's look at our stats here. We got 4. I think you can hold a maximum of 9 lives, which is kind of weird, but we don't have to worry about that here. Just go through this area. So, back to the industrial theming that we've seen throughout these stages. We got ourselves a mine shaft that we gotta go through. And this area definitely has a lot for us to see. We head down this way. Got ourselves this big enemy here with the giant spiky arms. Just want to try to dash past this thing as quickly as you can. You go up here to grab some additional health, which is nice. But yeah, over here we shouldn't have to worry about that guy, as he'll just fall into the spike pit and be killed. Part of me thinks that there is something that we missed over here. Oh yeah, just past where that guy was, you're able to get a sub-tank. So now we got 3 out of 4 sub-tanks. Not bad. Yeah, let's show off the Storm Tornado while we're here, because this thing is awesome. It just tears through enemies, has such a wide range it can hit. It's fantastic. Easily my favorite weapon in the game. It's so good. And you get it from the easiest boss in the game, too. So, yeah, I can easily recommend doing Storm Eagle very quickly into this adventure, just so you can get this weapon. So amazing. Whoop, some extra health there. Definitely good to grab the health pickups when you can, especially to refill your sub-tanks. Of course, even the Matar's helmet's able to protect them from a gust of wind. Definitely want to watch out if you see spikes in the stage, because those are instant death. There is no defense against those things. Which is a shame, because later Mega Man X games would introduce armor that can protect you from spike damage. However, we have no such luxury here. And if we head over this way, just want to very carefully go all the way to the left here. We got this robot that we want to very quickly take out from behind. You can only damage it from behind. Use weapons like the Storm Tornado or the Fire Wave. And we should be able to jump up here and grab the health pickup. So yeah, if you're unable to take that guy out fast enough, he'll destroy part of the ceiling, preventing you from being able to access that health upgrade. So that's why I recommend doing that. Very good. And now we should be able to just continue for the rest of the stage. Just blasting through everything around here. God, I love this stage. Just so cool thematically. And there we go, right at the end. So after clearing that last jump, we got ourselves the big fight at the end. Time for another Maverick. So Armored Armadillo here. True to his name, is a lot more armored compared to the other Mavericks we have encountered. Most of the time, your regular attacks aren't going to do much to him, because he can just put his guard up and protect himself from attacks. So he can be quite nasty if you're not prepared. And you definitely want to be careful if you shoot a charged attack at him while he's guarding, because he can absorb the damage and then unleash a powerful hit against you. Yeah, I'm just gonna take the L there. Fighting this guy using your regular X-Buster is brutal. I would easily consider him the toughest boss to go up against as your first pick in this game. However, we got ourselves a weapon that's able to get past that armor. If you manage to beat Spark Mandrill, we can fire a spark shot at him, and that will short-circuit his armor, preventing him from being able to protect himself. So now we can just blast this guy dead. So I always had an affinity for armadillos when I was younger. There was a plush armadillo that I got as a kid, and God, I love that thing so much. But just like that, we're able to take out Armored Armadillo. That fight was certainly electrifying. And by getting that, we get Rolling Shield. So that's a pretty interesting attack. Fires a large sphere of energy to damage enemies. And it's also pretty good at reflecting projectiles. So now we dealt with you. There's no other secrets we need to worry about in that stage yet. So how about we head over here? Launch Octopus! So fun fact, the very first time I ever played this game, this was the first stage I ever played. So this whole stage was my introduction to what we would expect to see in Mega Man X. And yeah, it's certainly pretty interesting. So we got ourselves an ocean area to see here, with tons of threats we can see both around and on top of the water. Got these seahorse guys that will shoot up from the bubbles down there in certain spots. Not too bad to deal with. And if we head this way, we got ourselves a mid-boss. This giant coelacanth-like robot that we gotta beat. So this guy really isn't too bad. He's got several different points he can attack from. He'll try to suck you in by pulling in a water current. He can release these eel-like robots to damage you. Just want to strike him with whatever you got. And after dealing with you, we can move over this way. Want to watch out for these piranha-like guys. If they suck you up, they will trap you for a couple seconds, and that can be quite nasty. So we head over here. We got ourselves that mid-boss again, only this time we got some spikes we gotta worry about. So yeah, definitely be careful. If he pulls you into the spikes, that can be a very nasty way to die. Alright, we're all out of tornado. So got to try our other weapons here. Oh wow, Spark Shot just took him out quickly. I mean, I don't know if that actually is his weapon weakness or whatever. So over here we got an interesting little mechanic here. These jets of water that can shoot up. allowing us to access this construction platform up here. But there's another jet of water we want to ride somewhere around here. Oh, I think this is it. If we ride this up, we can jump onto this large ship here and just want to take this thing out. Let's go for the fire wave. Just want to strike this thing with as much as you got in order to send it crashing down. So it manages to break through the floor, giving us access to a secret area down here. And this area gives us a new mid-boss we can fight. This thing is honestly not too bad. We saw bits of destroyed versions of this boss back when we were in Flame Mammoth's stage. So this guy's weakness is either his head or his tail. You want to strike either of those in order to damage him. And this guy's honestly much easier to beat if you manage to jump onto his back. I just haven't had a good opportunity to do that yet. Let's try some other weapons here. How about Spark Shot? Since this is a water area, I imagine that would do quite well against this guy. Okay, let's jump there. So just blast him in the head repeatedly. Wow, he's not dead yet. Okay. Alright, let's just go for charge shots then. Anytime you're ready, buddy. So while we're dealing with this guy here, something else that was pretty nice in terms of gaming news. So we finally got the announcement that we're gonna get Persona 6 sometime soon, as well as the remake to Persona 4, which I'm definitely excited for, as someone who's definitely known about Persona 4 for a considerable number of years. I actually have both Persona 3, 4, and 5 on Steam. I just haven't had a whole lot of opportunities to play through all of them. However, I have gotten quite far into Persona 3 Reload, so I would really like to play some more of that sometime soon. But get around to that sometime later. And hello, Master Starman. Welcome into the stream here. Just playing some Mega Man X, getting in some classic gaming action here. And managed to beat the same mini-boss that we fought before. Very nice. So around here, I believe, yep, we got more of these piranha-like guys. We'll just dash on past them. Then we'll go take on the boss at the end of this stage. Yeah, quick and easy battle here. Just needed to get the one collectible. And we can finally face Launch Octopus. This guy can be a little tricky. He's got a lot of different attacks that he can do. He can fire torpedoes that can home in on you. And he's also got some fish-like robots that he can fire. So yeah, this guy's got a lot of projectiles. Also, watch out for his whirlpool attack. If you get caught in that, he can grab you with his tentacles, and that can be quite nasty. He will try to drain your life energy. So definitely watch out for that attack. So Launch Octopus's weakness is the shield that we got from Armored Armadillo. So use that to damage him. And actually, we're actually out of ammo for the rolling shield. So we just, please kill this guy. Oh, thank goodness. One more hit and we would have died there. There's another thing that you can do to make the fight against Launch Octopus a bit easier, but I don't have the ability to do that yet. So we'll just take him out. You got Homing Torpedo. That thing is supposed to be called Homing Torpedo, but yeah. Definitely a very noticeable typo there. Thanks, game. But now we dealt with that guy. there's only 2 more Maverick bosses that we gotta deal with before we can head off to the end game here. And considering our options... yeah, how about we go for this guy? Boomer Kawanger. And another one of my favorite stages, especially when it comes to the music. It's like, I swear, this is easily one of my favorite songs in the entire game. It's so good. This whole game's soundtrack is amazing, but this one especially is just so flippin' amazing. Alright, let's try to dash past that guy and just avoid that cannon there. So, Boomer Kawanger's stage is a bit more unique in that this area is a lot more vertical compared to some of the other levels we have been through. Also, we got quite a few traps that we got to deal with in this area. Namely, we got those areas where if you pass by the wires, the drones will shoot attacks out at you. And, of course, we got lots of turtles in this shaft we gotta deal with. Definitely recommend going with either the fire or the storm weapons to take those guys out. And then we got ourselves an elevator sequence. We'll definitely have some enemies dropping in on us from above, so just be careful when they come down. And also watch out for the spikes that are going to be above you. But we should be just about at the end of this segment. There we go. So now we're climbing the exterior of the tower after previously exploring the interior. Quite a nice little change of pace here. Again, this is definitely one of my favorite stages, and it's a good deal why. Being able to scale the tower from various different points, it's very cool. Speaking of cool, there is something that I'd like to show off pretty soon if I'm able to. Turrets around here are usually pretty awkward to deal with. As long as you take care of them once, they shouldn't reappear from the platforms that extend out. Should be pretty close to the end here. Yep, here we are. So got that health pickup over there. How are we gonna get that thing? Well, there is something we can do with the charged shotgun ice, where if we do this, it conjures a little penguin platform that you can ride in order to grab that. It can also be used to damage enemies, but, you know, I usually resort to just anything else when it comes to damage, so I don't really use that weapon in particular. I'm gonna have to take a hit from that thing. But we should be good here. And we should be just about at the end of this stage. Ow. Of course I got hit by that last turret over here. I'm pretty low on health, so we'll probably just go at him with our basic attack. So now for the big boss here, Boomer Kawanger. This nasty beetle guy is pretty dang formidable. I would basically call him a fusion between both Cutman and Quickman from the classic Mega Man games. He will move very quickly around here, just try to teleport and try to grab you with his horns. And he can also throw his horns like a boomerang to deal damage to you. He is very nasty. Just want to try and dash away from his attacks and then try to also take advantage of the wall jump if you want to avoid his encounters. Because otherwise, this guy is a pain. I know I could be using his weakness here, but I'm so low on health, I figure I might as well just try to go Buster only at the moment. I mean, there is certainly an appeal to trying to beat this game using the basic X-Buster. I generally like challenge runs like that, where you try to limit what you're able to do. Can be pretty interesting to challenge yourself with a game that you're already very familiar with. Only 2 more hits left should take this guy out. Come on, there we go! Man, we actually managed to get him first try using the X-Buster. That's great. And the health upgrade was basically the only thing we needed to grab in his stage. So, that's about everything we need to worry about that. Very good. We got Boomerang Cutter. So that will fire boomerangs that will circle back into X. Definitely a pretty interesting weapon. But this one also has some really good utility for things we're going to see here. So got everything we need in that stage, as well as the previous ones. So I believe it's finally time we return to Spark Mandrill. So over here, we can see that there are fragments from the Death Rogamer here. So if you manage to beat Storm Eagle before going to Spark Mandrill's stage, that actually shuts down the electricity here. And portions of the stage will start to black out. It's definitely a pretty interesting way of changing things up here. And using the Boomerang Cutter, we're able to retrieve the sub-tank that was hidden past that wall. So now we have all the sub-tanks. Very good indeed. And with that, we have no more need to be in this stage, so let's just exit out. So after taking care of that, it's time to head into the last stage we need to worry about out of the original 8. Sting Chameleon! Damn, what that tongue do? So got ourselves a robot jungle. Yeah, I don't really understand the benefits to having mechanical trees. I believe this area is meant to be like a nature preserve. And yet, all the plant life here is mechanical. I don't really get it. But regardless, it's an interesting site for a forest-based stage. So around here, around the caverns, we got another area that's affected by the order you do levels. In which case, we have all this water down here in this cave that wouldn't normally be over here. So this section of the level will flood after you have beaten Launch Octopus. I just didn't feel the need to go to this stage before dealing with Octopus, because there really is no reason to wait between those 2 stages. There isn't a whole lot that changes in the vanilla version of this stage if you don't do the other one. So what I want to do, is we don't fail this time, is dash jump over here, because the water gives us higher elevation that we can travel. And we're able to grab the last health upgrade that we can get in the game. So now, X's health is at maximum. Definitely got a good capacity over here. And if we head to the upper section of the cliff, we get ourselves walled off, and we got ourselves a new boss to deal with. So this is a pretty interesting optional fight here. This guy's kind of similar in design to a character in the classic Mega Man games who actually made his debut on the SNES, named Otto, who was something of an ally to Mega Man. This guy is definitely no ally. Far from it. So this guy only has one weak spot, and that is his eye. Yeah, it's pretty freaky. I don't even know if this guy has a weakness to any of the weapons, which is why I'm just pelting him with our regular X-Buster. It's one of the more tedious fights in this game, honestly. Especially because there's no health bar to really show you how far along you are with damaging this guy. So I guess we can take this point to talk about this particular... just some other things that are pretty interesting to mention. So very recently, earlier last week, I went and I saw the finale to The Amazing Digital Circus, as that was actually playing in the movie theater in my town, which is very nice. And I'm not gonna say anything about what happens in the finale, but believe me when I say it was a good conclusion to that particular series. So after being that boss, we get ourselves another light capsule. This capsule contains a new type of body armor. It will reduce damage to your systems by 50%. So this is the last of the Dr. Light capsules that we'll be seeing in this adventure. Or is it? Yeah, there is one other that we're able to get. And for anyone who's familiar with this particular game, you know what I'm referring to. But yes, we got ourselves armor, which will reduce the amount of damage we take from enemies by half. Definitely a good one. So got these big rock guys over here. I want to see what's effective against them. Yeah, the shield did some pretty good damage. Oh yeah, that two-shots them. Pretty nice. So I'm pretty sure if you just let the rock guys stay put for a while, they will eventually just start chucking rocks at you. There's nothing we really need to worry about there. As well as the rest of this stage, because we basically dealt with everything here when it comes to collectibles. Now that we got the body armor, as well as the health upgrade. So over here we can show us some more of the ride armor. Just very cool being able to jet through these stages and just bash away Mavericks in our path. Especially with the guys that are also riding in ride armor. Those guys can be nasty to beat when X is on his own. Just using the armor to bash them away. God, it feels so satisfying. And would you look at that, we're already at the end of the stage. I think for this fight we'll try... Yeah, we can try going at him with a regular X-Buster. We're already kind of on a roll with that at the moment. As we can see, this guy has a cloaking system built into him, as chameleons are associated with camouflage. The Sting Chameleon here definitely got himself a lot of tricks. He'll try to whip you with his tongue. And he will also try to shake the ceiling to make the thorns fall down on you. But yeah, he can also fire attacks from his tail. There's definitely a lot of different attacks he can do here. Combine that with him being able to cloak himself to avoid damage, and you got yourself a pretty tricky fight. I remember some runs I try of this game, I would do Sting Chameleon a bit earlier than some of the other bosses, and he would definitely give me a lot of trouble. But not so at this point, because we have so many health, plus we have sub-tanks, so we should easily be able to handle anything he can do to us. And of course we do have his weakness, but I'm not too concerned with using it at the moment. We'll show it off at a later point in this adventure. Come on, Rango, you can't last much longer here. So I hope everyone watching has been having a pretty good day. As for myself, I went out and got myself some chicken shawarma for lunch, and it was so good. Honestly, I've been feeling kind of iffy the last couple of days. Like, I wouldn't say I was sick, but I was definitely not well. But I'm definitely feeling a bit better now. Like, I've still been sneezing a little bit and still a little phlegmy, but besides that, I'm feeling pretty good. And especially after I filled up my belly on some yummy chicken. And by beating Sting Chameleon, we get the Chameleon Sting Weapon. Very clever. And after dealing with that... Finally, we found Sigma's fortress. Let's go in and put an end to his war against the humans. So I haven't really talked too much about the main story here. But yeah, our final opponent here, after dealing with the 8 Mavericks here, is of course Sigma. It actually doesn't show him on the map here, but he's in a far distant area. But yeah, Sigma here is the main villain of Mega Man X, and it would certainly be a recurring force throughout the rest of this series. So he is basically the Dr. Wily of this game when it comes to being a recurring boss figure in the series. And there's definitely a lot going on with this guy. Let us just head into the stage ahead. Let's split up. I'll go in first, and then you can slip in while I keep the main defense force busy. So Zero is gonna go on ahead. Definitely have some pretty interesting music here to set the tone as we are beginning our assault on Sigma's base. So to talk a bit more about the characters in this game. So Zero is of course a veteran member of the Maverick Hunters, and Sigma, the character that we are going to take on, was initially also a member of the Maverick Hunters. In fact, he was their leader. However, during a battle against a rogue Maverick that managed to overpower Sigma, he ended up being corrupted by a virus that has now caused him to turn Maverick himself. So now he is gone off the deep end. It is now planning an all-out war to try and destroy humanity as well as anyone who gets in his way. And now it's up to us, as well as Zero, our superior, in order to deal with Sigma and his fortresses. Got ourselves a lot to deal with over here. Basically, every enemy that we've encountered in the previous stages, we're gonna see here as a threat. So we'll just deal with everything that we can while going through the fortress. Also feel the need to mention that there is something else we could have gotten in one of the previous stages to help us for this section, but we'll grab that later. It's Vile. Stay back, X. I'll take him on. Vile, of course, is Sigma's commander. We're gonna have to deal with him before we can face the big guy. Sounds like a fierce battle was going on there. Okay, Zero, did you manage to take Vile out? Oh, come on! X, do what I tell you or he's history. Don't listen to him, X! Go ahead and blast him! Dream on, Zero. X knows he can't defeat me. My armored carrier's more than a match for his ancient weapons. Got ourselves a rematch against Vile. And honestly, there's not much we can do in this phase. You can go ahead and attack him all you want, but we are not going to be able to beat him. He is still too much even for us at this point. Just keep attacking him until you get low enough in health for him to start doing his stun attack. Maybe, but I'm not through yet! Zero, no! What a worthless gesture. I can't be defeated so easily. So, X, it's just you and me now. Ugh. What the? Where did that energy come from? It really doesn't matter how much energy you absorb, X. You are still far too weak. Prepare to be terminated! So with Zero's sacrifice, we are finally able to take on Vile without his armored carrier. This guy's got a lot of different attacks. Definitely want to watch out for the stun blast he can do, as well as those grenades that he can fire. His weakness is the homing torpedo. Use that and you should be able to take him out very easily. Good riddance, Vile. X, I've taken too much damage. Auto repair systems can't handle it. My power's fading fast. Your power's greater than I thought. Maybe you could destroy Sigma. And Zero is no more. God, such an amazing character. I love Zero so much. Just so great the way he is X's superior. He encourages us to get better. And in the end, he sacrifices himself so that we'll be the ones to take on Sigma in the end. Just such a great character. I love him so much. So what I want to show off here with the Chameleon Sting, normally it's a spread shot. However, if we charge it up, we are able to cloak ourselves in order to avoid damage from enemies. Quite the useful tool here. Okay, we're gonna need to charge up again to get past this. We'll just avoid all these enemies over here and make our way to the big fight ahead. Let's look at who we got. We got a rematch against Boomer Kawanger. So all throughout the Sigma stages, we will be facing the Maverick bosses that we have previously defeated. Sting Chameleon's weakness is the homing torpedo, which makes sense as a guy who moves around so quickly and goes out of sight. Using a weapon that can home in on his energy signature would naturally be the ticket to squashing this bug. So long, Boomer. So now we dispensed with him. Still got a little bit before we will see the end of this stage. Ow. Trying to figure some other things we can talk about as we're going through this part. We're actually at the end of the stage here. Come on. There we go. So I want to equip Shotgun Ice for this next fight. So over here, we got ourselves our next opponent, Boss Spider. So this thing can be pretty formidable. Got ourselves a giant spider who's going to descend from the ceiling, and it can also fire its babies in order to strike us. So what you want to do is strike it when its core is exposed with the Shotgun Ice. So it will move it down to the various pillars around here, just based on the position of the pipes in between them. So just be careful when going through here. Avoid the babies when they drop down, and you should be good. It's definitely an interesting fight. Not one of my favorites in the game, but you know, it's cool conceptually. Just about got this guy dead. And of course, the less health he gets, the faster he's gonna move. So watch out for that. But we were able to take out Boss Spider. Very nice. So we cleared the first of the Sigma stages. Let's head into the next one. It's a shame that Zero could not make it further through the fortress, as he was taken out by Vile so early on. But we gotta press on. Oh, come on! Yeah, that was definitely on me. But don't worry, we should be good. Yeah, we have plenty of lives. We'll be fine. I think around here I want to have Homing Torpedo, because it helps for dealing with the ceiling enemies here. And Fire, of course, definitely good against the high HP targets like these ostrich-looking guys. And after dealing with that, we can move on to another Maverick rematch. This time against Chili Penguin himself. So yeah, this one shouldn't be too bad. We're just gonna let him march straight to his death. I've always had an affinity for penguins. They're just really cool animals. I love them a lot. Ow. Come on, this shouldn't be much harder than the last time we fought this guy. You know, since we also had his weakness the last time we fought you. There we go. So now we've cooked that penguin, we can move onward. Alright, we managed to take that guy out, and we can steal his ride armor, allowing us to move through this section a bit easier. Another good quality of the ride armor is that it's invincible against spikes, so it gives you some extra defense against that particular threat. And we should be all done here with those guys. Very good. Down here, got two different shafts that you can go through. Just gonna blaze past these guys because I really don't care about the damage we're taking here. We have spare energy. And over here, we can finally face Storm Eagle. This time with his main weakness, which is the Chameleon Sting. It's definitely very nice to use against him, since it has a wide range, since it does a spread shot. Definitely pretty nice. Alternatively, you could chameleon yourself in order to avoid taking a hit from this guy. But honestly, he doesn't do too much damage, so I don't recommend that. And Storm Eagle is grounded once more. So now we can move further into the stage. What are we gonna do against you? Yeah, I think we can keep using fire around here. I'm not too worried about wasting this Fang. Alright, we're pretty low on health. Let's actually use one of our sub-tanks to heal ourselves up. I said I want to use my sub-tank. There we go. So only got a little bit from a half-empty tank, but we should be fine. So we're going to want to equip Chameleon Sting again for this fight. So we got ourselves quite the big one. This is Rangda Bangda. So this guy is made up of several different components that we're going to need it to damage. We got to damage the eyes and his nose in order to win this fight. I would recommend taking out the eyes first. Depending on the color of the eye, that will determine what attacks it is able to do to you. Yeah, definitely want to watch out for this guy. Try to take out all of his components, and you should be good. Alright, we dealt with the eyes, so now we just gotta blast his nose. Also, watch out for his spiky teeth at the bottom, because those will kill you. But like that, we're able to beat Rangda Bangda. I definitely don't know what the original purpose of that guy was. Considering the closing walls, he might have been like a trash compactor that was modified by Sigma into a weapon. But now that we dealt with that, we can move on to the next Sigma stage. And oh boy. We definitely got ourselves a lot to look forward to here. As beyond this stage, we should have Armored Armadillos returning. So we'll definitely want to short-circuit his armor, first and foremost. So I don't see us needing to worry about the electric spark in the rest of this stage. So we'll just blast him as much as we can with it. Again, you can try to fight this guy the legit way using the X-Buster, but come on, it's so much easier to deal with this guy if you electrocute him and get rid of the armor. Otherwise, he is just such a pain. And I'm not gonna putz about and throw myself against an invincible shield all day. So over here, we got ourselves a lot of bats, as well as a health pickup we can get if we jump over to it. Very nice. And then over here should be Sting Chameleon. Alright, so this time we're actually gonna use his weakness. So watch how quickly this fight's gonna go. Ha ha! Let's see if you can beat me! Ow! Damn it! Bitch! Asshole! Damn it! Crap! Bitch! Ow! Fuck! Damn it! Kind! Yeah, he goes down so quickly if you use the boomerang cutter on him. And we are done with that guy. Oh, another thing we can use the boomerang with. So you can use that to grab some of the pickups over here, which can be nice to fill up our supplies. And then... Alright, how about this time we'll face Spark Mandrill the legit way. We have plenty of health. We should be able to handle him. This guy's, of course, got quite a few different attacks he can do. Between using the Spark Shock to electrify the walls and floor, grabbing on to the ceiling, using his punch attack. He's definitely got a lot to him. But at this point, we should be able to handle anything he can do. So long, Mandrill. It is not your time. And look where we're going next. We got ourselves a water area, which can mean only one thing. I smell calamari on the menu. Alright, so there's definitely something I want to show off here with the boomerang cutter in this fight. So once Long Octopus is down here, we are actually able to use the boomerang if we strike him enough times with it, it should be able to cut off his tentacles. So that is very nice because that will prevent him from being able to do his whirlpool attack. Then we'll just want to strike him with the rolling shield. Damn, there we go. Good work, buddy. So yeah, that definitely makes the fight a lot easier so you don't have to worry about his whirlpool and him potentially draining your energy. So after dealing with that guy, there's something up there that I believe you can try to get with Chameleon Sting or using Chill Penguin's charge attack, but we're not going to worry about that. It's over here. We got ourselves the first Maverick we beat in this game. Flame Mammoth. Much like an octopus, there is also something we can do using the boomerang cutter. We can chop his nose off. So that will prevent him from using his oil attack on us, which is quite nice. And then we can just blast him with the Storm Tornado, as that is Mammoth's weakness. Makes sense, as a fire can be put out by a strong enough gust of wind. And that takes care of Mammoth. It's quite nice we're able to beat him so easily the first time, but yep, the big guy is down. And that clears the way to the next boss. Alright, this one's going to be pretty interesting considering, given our current health, I'm probably just going to try and fight this guy the normal way with the Buster. Anyway, this boss is D-Rex. He is a giant truck. His only weak point is his top half. He can try to ram into you or shoot giant energy ball attacks. So yeah, honestly, this is probably my least favorite boss in the entire game. I do not like D-Rex, and I don't know many other people who like him. So to beat this guy, we're going to want to use the boomerang cutter, as this, believe it or not, is his weakness. Yeah, for whatever reason, a truck is weak to boomerangs. Whatever, as long as it works. Just want to slice him to ribbons. Just be careful not to get chomped on him. Definitely not doing too hot here, but, you know, we're trying our best. Even if our best isn't, you know, great. There it goes. D-Rex is down. So, we are sitting pretty good. We managed to defeat all of the Maverick boss rematches. We made it past Sigma's General Vial. So all that's left is one more fight. However, before we do this, I want to return to Armored Armadillo, because there is something we're able to do here. So what I want to do, we need to grind a couple lives while we're around here. We got tons of bat enemies we can shoot in order to get energy. And trust me when I say, we're going to need lots of energy for where we're going, because we are going to want to have our sub-tanks full for this next encounter we're going to be doing. We'll just strike all these bats down. And I want to specifically attack this one enemy, as it is able to have a high drop rate for extra lives, if we can actually get it. At the very least, we're going to grind up our energy, which is going to be very helpful here. Alright, there's an extra life. So we're still going to need a lot more of these, so we're probably going to go to max lives before we continue on with this stage. Because trust me, there is something that we can get here in Armored Armadillo that we have not obtained yet, and it's going to be very, very good to us. We could have gone much earlier, but I kind of just wanted to get a move on and go through the rest of these stages. Alright, so we just need one more tank filled here, and then we should be good just to try and grind the lives. Come on, I need some extra health energy, game. Come on, I need extra lives. We'll eventually get this. So I was thinking about some other things we could talk about while we're just doing some grinding over here for these drops. Oh, that's good. Got another life. So, yep, I will definitely like to say that preparations are currently underway for the next game that I'm going to be streaming on this channel once we're done with Mega Man X. So I don't know exactly when the next stream is going to be, because I do have a couple things going on later this week. Specifically tomorrow, I have somewhere that I have to be. I'm not going to go too much into detail about it, but there's a certain place I need to be very early in the morning, and yeah, it's going to be an interesting new experience for me is what I'm going to say. So we're probably going to have our next stream session a bit later this week. I haven't narrowed down whether we're going to have our next session on maybe Wednesday or Saturday, but I'll think about when would be a good time for us to start the next stream session. It should definitely be a fun one, since it's a game that I've been wanting to do for this channel for so frickin' long. And I definitely know it's going to be a good time going through it. And of course, going through this game again has made me feel like it would be fun to attempt to stream the other Mega Man X games here on the channel. It's probably going to be a while before we get into X2, and I would like to take down some notes for when we do that playthrough inevitably. Well, besides that, I'll just try to do what I can. And in terms of some other stuff I want to say, thank you for giving me another extra life game. Definitely need a lot of these. Just kind of thinking about some stuff that I've been... Alright, we have full tanks, so we just need to grind lives now. Alright, so what we want to do is have at least more than 5 lives for what we need to do. It would also be nice for us to... There we go. Probably just gonna max out our life counter before we go into the next thing. Just so we make sure that we have plenty for the fight against Sigma at the end. So we'll just blast a couple of these guys, get the lives we need, and then we will vamoose. Yeah, we should need one more. There we go. Now that we have 9 lives, that should be the end for what we're able to get there. So just make our way through the end of the stage now. Because believe it or not, we have to go through the entirety of Armored Armadillo in order to get to the next fight we need. Shouldn't take us too long to get where we need to. And at the very least, we have our sub-tanks full. So we don't need to worry about dealing with that anytime soon. Ow. I also don't really care about taking damage at the moment. We have plenty of health, plus we have armor, so Should be able to handle anything we get hit by. Get out of here, you. Yeah, we want to travel to a very specific point in this stage, which should be coming up just very soon. So right over here. Let's just burninate this guy. So yeah, that's actually more effective than doing the tornado against him. Alright, so there is a certain secret that we're able to get in this game. If you are managed to reach this minecart segment, what you want to do is jump over and get to this part of the level. And then we need to die. And we need to do this at least 5 times. I don't know how kids back in the day were supposed to figure this shit out. This definitely seems like something that was made for Nintendo Power, you know? So yeah, we need to go through this whole ending segment 5 times in order to trigger this thing. So, what's something else that we can talk about while we're just doing this? So I guess I could say that I've been going back to playing Subnautica recently, and been definitely making some very good progress. We're into the very late game of that particular adventure at the moment. And it'll be very nice to clear up that particular save file, as this playthrough has definitely been useful for me just getting back into practice with that game, since Subnautica is a game that I do want to stream for the channel at some point. It's going to be a little while before we eventually get around to it, but it should be a good time. Also, in terms of other stuff I've been doing, so I managed to finish my most recent playthrough of The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. Just such a good game. Specifically, I was playing the version that was re-released on the Nintendo Switch 2's new GameCube library. It was very fun getting to visit that particular version of the game. I'm much more used to the Wii U version, which I'll probably say is the definitive Wind Waker experience. It certainly has some nice quality of life features to it that make it worth playing over the original GameCube version. But you know, very happy to say that I managed to finish the original GameCube version. And not only that, I managed to 100% by getting all the collectibles I need, including a lot of the bonus pieces of heart that, honestly, when I was younger, I didn't really focus too much on getting, just because it seemed like so much of a... Are you kidding me, X? Well, we're going to be going through this portion with a few less lives than I would have liked, but it should be good. We should have plenty for dealing with the final threat of the game. Just, so annoyed by that. But in terms of other stuff I've been doing recently, I've kind of been on a bit of a Star Wars kick lately. And no, it's not because of The Mandalorian and Grogu. I've just been watching a lot of Star Wars videos pretty recently. Here it is. So by managing to get over here and dying 5 times, this special capsule will appear. I give you a special present. Now, enter the capsule, please. Also, I like that Dr. Light is dressed like Ryu from Street Fighter. There's a particular reason for that. As now our arms have been enhanced, we can now do a Hadouken from the Street Fighter series, which for those who don't know is the signature move of Ryu in that game. So this thing is basically instant death to any enemy and boss in the game if it manages to connect. It's certainly a very good weapon to have in this point in the adventure. Oh yeah, shout out to Tifa. God, I'm still excited for the final part of the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy, since that got announced pretty recently. Should be a lot of fun. I still need to go back to Final Fantasy VII Remake and actually finish it. But, you know, I'll get around to it eventually. So now that we have everything that we can possibly get in all the various levels in this game, there is only one last area to go. It's time to take the fight to Sigma himself, our former boss, and all around a grade A douchebag. So got this large shaft over here to climb. There's this little tunnel here that shows these little caterpillar-like enemies. You can continuously kill them in order to restock on energy if you need to restock your sub-tanks, which will certainly be helpful here.
Welcome! I see you managed to get here by yourself. Very impressive. I could destroy you, but I would not rob my pet of that pleasure. He knows how to deal with betrayers. Should you live, I will be waiting for you. Don't disappoint me, X.
So facing the boss of our... well, facing the pet of our former boss, this is Velgarder. He's a mechanical wolf, and... yeah, he's not too bad, honestly. He will try to dash and leap at you. He can shoot jets of fire. It's really not too bad. His weakness is shotgun ice, so use that to take him out. Honestly, I don't typically fight this guy the legit way. I usually just Hadouken him and kill him instantly. But with that, we managed to beat Velgarder.
Excellent job, X. I see why Zero counted on you. You're almost as good a hunter as I was. But the time of your destruction has arrived. You shall regret ever having to fight me.
Now we face the big guy Sigma himself. So his weakness is the spark shot. So use that against him. So this guy is definitely pretty tough. He will just dash at you from all across the arena and the walls. And yeah. So all around, this is one tough cookie. Alright, we still have our full sub-tanks, and we have plenty of lives, so we should be good. Let's just get back up top, and we'll deal with this. So now that we showed off the Velgarder fight, we're probably just gonna Hadouken him and just end this right away. Hey dude, I'm back. So yeah, thing with the Hadouken, you need to be at full health in order for this thing to work. So make sure you don't take damage before fighting a particularly tough opponent. Alright buddy, can we just skip to the main battle here? Yeah, we could also just Hadouken Sigma here, but we're gonna wait a little while before we do that. Yeah, like I was saying before, I was in a bit of a Star Wars mood, and I even rewatched A New Hope pretty recently. God, that movie is still so good. Still holds up to this day as a very iconic bit of a sci-fi goodness. And still pretty relevant lately with its themes about standing up to oppression, you know? Especially in this day and age. But yeah, Sigma is no joke. He moves around so fast, and he can really lay the hurt on you if you're not careful. So I definitely recommend taking advantage of the wall climbing abilities. Strike him when his guard is down, especially when he's up on the walls, because he's basically defenseless when he does. Hit him with the spark shocks, and you should be good. There we go! So we dealt with Sigma.
Did you really think that was the end, X? Now, witness my true power!
So now Sigma has fused himself to this giant mech. So we're gonna need to strike the head of the beast in order to take care of Sigma once and for all. His only weakness is going to be the rolling shield. So try to use that against him. You also gotta watch out for the attacks that are fired from the platforms as well as from his mouth. He's got a lot of different attacks he can do. And if you're not prepared, that can happen. Okay, we're fine. We'll just Hadouken these guys and we should be good. Yeah, he can do a lot of damage even with the armor upgrade. So watch out for that. Make sure your sub-tanks are maxed out. So you'll be having easy time against this guy. Because otherwise, this is going to be hell. Honestly, the final fight isn't that bad. You do have to wait through 2 bosses in order to get to the final fight, but it's not too bad. We'll just Hadouken, Velgarder, and Sigma, and we should be fine. I am a little concerned about my current ammunition, because if we don't have enough rolling shield to beat this guy, that could be tricky. Oh, come on. Alright. Seems like a waste, but I want to Hadouken this guy. Oh, come on! Stupid invincibility frames. I want to hit him with the Hadouken. There we go! Wasted 2 sub-tanks on this asshole, but we should be good. We still have plenty of health to take out his final form. So I'm not gonna do the speech that I totally improvised the last time, because dramatic tension is gone. But yeah, like I said before, Sigma is no joke. He has a lot of different attacks. He can easily blindside you, like that. You can use the wall climb in order to strike at this guy, but I will typically just use the platforms when they come down. Because if you're on the walls, you're at the risk of getting hit by his claws anyway, so that can be nasty if you're not prepared for that. But yeah, you definitely want to be careful in this fight. Make sure you have plenty of sub-tanks and extra lives. I'm gonna go ahead and heal up there. Like I said, the rolling shield is his only weakness. So that's your best bet for doing damage to this guy. Otherwise, you can go for charge shots, but those aren't really going to do too much to him, believe it or not. Yeah, this is definitely a pretty good final battle. Definitely has a lot of difficulty to it, which honestly is pretty warranted after everything we have been through. Compared to some other Mega Man final bosses, this one isn't too bad. He just does a lot of damage, but you can see his attacks coming pretty easily. It's not like the final battle of Mega Man 7 where it just throws so much at you in rapid succession, and it's so hard to even bloody hit the guy. Ow. Definitely need a heal. Oh, come on. Ah, I'm taking so many unnecessary hits here. Also like the touch that Sigma's minion Velgarder is a wolf, and then, oh god, we have so little health and we have no sub-tanks. We did not need to waste all of those earlier. You know what? We're gonna be fine. We have an opportunity to fuel up here. It's gonna take a little while to grind up the energy we need. But yeah, what I want to do is charge up the rolling shield. Doing that will give us a barrier that will be able to protect us from damage. And we can use that to gather energy from the caterpillars that are gonna keep pouring out of this hole here. So you can just do that in order to refill on lives, on health energy, get everything that you need in order to beat Sigma. It's honestly not too bad. You just gotta wait around a bit to get the things you need. And luckily the shield lasts a good while, so you're just able to continuously grind the stuff you need from beating these worms. But yeah, definitely been in quite the Star Wars mood lately. Thanks to Shafrillis putting out a video recently where he did a poll asking people to vote on who their favorite Star Wars characters on, and then afterwards he just kind of talked about the rankings of all the various characters. So it was definitely a pretty interesting watch. I quite enjoyed that video quite a bit. And I'm very happy that a lot of the characters that I voted for made it into the top 10. Like, there was only one character that didn't make it into the top 10, and it's kind of a joke answer, but I voted for Watto as one of the characters on that poll. But yeah, it was definitely a pretty fun watch, all things considered. We definitely recommend checking it out, but also, it is just such a long video. My god, is it long. But definitely well worth it, too. Alright, we grabbed a lot there. Alright, our sub-tanks are almost full. So I'm probably not going to be a bitch here at this part. I'm not going to waste my time grinding for... Well, I'm not going to waste my sub-tanks against a boss I can easily just handle myself. Guys, I've actually been dropping quite a lot of lives, as I've been hearing from the jingle. It's quite interesting. How are we? Yep, our sub-tanks are full. Alright, so ready to face the big guy himself. Let's get up here so we can fight him and his dog. Yeah, one of the things I was saying earlier, I like the touch that Sigma's pet Velgarder is wolf-like in design. And then his final form that he transforms into is also very wolf-like. It's kind of very thematic, you know? Okay, we still have the shield. Can we just... Yeah, that was really weird. Okay, you're gonna be like that. Alright, I do not want to waste my energy like last time, so we're just gonna fight this boss legit. Because I typically don't fight Velgarder like this. I usually just go for the Hadouken. But at least Shotgun Ice is pretty good at dealing with him, since it can bounce off the walls and whatnot. Yeah, buddy, we already went through this whole spiel before. Come on, Sigma! I definitely faced this guy a number of times, and believe me when I say this is a tough fight. But, oh boy, some of the other Sigma battles in the series can go wild. This guy has a lot of iterations, as we'll be seeing as we play through these games here on the channel. A lot of them can be very crazy. Go ahead and use your forehead laser attack. I really do not care, buddy. Okay. Let's use a sub-tank here. Still got plenty of health. There we go. So now we can finally get back to the final phase and put this guy out for good. Well, I say for good, but as we all know, this guy is still going to be alive and kicking in the rest of the games. So yeah, I could definitely see what Zach was saying before about using the walls. I don't know, I usually get hit by the hands whenever I try to wall jump up here. Well, I got him that time. That's actually pretty good. Okay, that's working a lot better than my old strategy. But yeah, I typically use the hands as platforms in this phase. Probably why it takes me so long to beat this guy. Honestly, it's not too bad. Taking a lot of unnecessary hits here. Come on. Get your head in the game, X. Oh, come on. How'd I miss him? He was right there. Yeah, see? Anytime I try to climb on the walls, I just get hit by the claws. Then I take an unnecessary hit from the lightning. Ow! Alright, we'll heal up here, and last of our sub-tanks. Ah. Ow, come on. Actually, almost got this guy down. So a few more hits will do it. One more. There we go. It's over.
No! It's not possible! I'm a Reploid! I can't be destroyed by you! Why, X? Why have you done this to us? Without the humans, my Reploid brothers could have ushered in a new age! Gah!
And with that, the battle is over. The war has ended, for now, and peace has been restored. But those who sacrificed themselves for the victory will never return. I don't know about that. Exhausted, X gazes at the destruction he helped cause and wonders why he chose to fight. Was there another way? Standing on the cliff, the answers seem to escape him. He only knows that he'll fight the Mavericks again before he finds his answer. How long will he keep on fighting? How long will his pain last? Maybe only the ex-Buster on his hand knows for sure. I mean, this guy definitely has quite the legacy to live up to as the successor to the original Mega Man. And as we all know, he is going to keep on fighting for quite a few games to come before he can finally know peace. But yeah, that was Mega Man X. It's a game that I love to return to so many times, and I'm gonna keep returning to it many years after this, because it's just such a phenomenal game. It's aged so well, so simple and easy to pick up and play, and there's a lot to it that I feel definitely improves upon the Mega Man formula. It's like, this was, I believe, the first Mega Man game on the SNES. The series has definitely had a lasting legacy on the original Nintendo Entertainment System. So for this game to bring the series to a new golden standard with what they were able to achieve on the Super Nintendo, it was definitely excellent. Like, Capcom back in their heyday were so good at making games like this, and you know, Capcom is still making a lot of good games these days, with how they've been doing things with like Resident Evil and Street Fighter, Monster Hunter. And you know, very recently they have announced that there's going to be a new Mega Man game, so I'll be looking forward to jumping into that eventually. And I definitely like to play some more of these games on the channel. Just that this is the one that I always go back to, as it's easily my favorite in the Mega Man series. For good reason, it ushered in just such a grand new era for this series, where just the scope of everything was definitely improving with each iteration. And we get introduced to some new characters, introduced to a new age within the Mega Man franchise. It's just a phenomenal game from top to bottom. In terms of its looks, in terms of how it plays, how it sounds, such a phenomenal game. I love returning to it, even after all these years. So yep, that's it for this current stream playthrough. It's definitely been very fun to jump into a shorter game after playing through Rayman Origins over the last couple of days. Also, just reminded myself to talk about this. So we are getting Rayman Legends Retold, which is a fully remade version of Rayman Legends. And my god, it looks like it's gonna be so much fun. It's like, it was so serendipitous that I was doing a playthrough of Rayman Origins, and they announced this game soon after I finished that stream series. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to when Rayman Legends Retold gets released. I'm not sure if I'm going to play it for this channel, at least with how soon it's going to be released later this year, but I'm definitely looking forward to playing it, and hopefully I'll have a lot to say about it, as well as the new story content that's going to be added to it compared to the original Rayman Legends. But, yep, this is the end of our Mega Man X playthrough. I'll definitely want to play some more Mega Man games later for the channel. But for now, I'm going to leave you on this. We got another stream coming up very soon, and it's going to be a good one.
You have won a temporary victory, X. What you destroyed was only a temporary body. My spirit remains intact. In time, I will find other bodies strong enough to do my bidding, and I will return. I shall see you soon, X. Very soon.